Hey, it's Brent here. Hope you're having a great weekend out there today. I wanted to pop in. I got something important I want to talk to you about. There's something that you are doing hundreds, if not thousands of times each and every day that is so detrimental to your happiness and to creating the life that you want. So I want to talk about that today. I get a lot of messages. I get a lot of emails and direct messages in our Facebook community. And I see this over and over and over again. And I used to do this to myself for years. And so I see this in other people, and I just know how big this is, what a change you can make by just doing this one thing in your life. So I want to talk about it today. What is it? What is the thing we do to ourselves over and over and over and over again, all day long? It's our self-talk. The things that we say to ourselves matters. The things that are going on inside our head, those aren't just empty thoughts that disappear into the ether. Those thoughts are electric. They have power and they matter. And by knowing that, it changes everything. Now, negative self-talk is any sort of inner dialogue that you've got going that's limiting your ability to believe in yourself and in your own abilities. It's where you cannot believe yourself that you can reach your potential. It's any thought that diminishes you, that makes you small, that makes you feel like you can't make positive changes in your life. It takes away your confidence, so you seem helpless. Negative self-talk is so destructive in our lives because that negative self-talk, those are affirmations. When you say something to yourself over and over and over, you're affirming it. That is what an affirmation is. So the worst thing that you can say, things like, I hate my life, I'm so stupid, I'm so fat, I'm never going to do this, and on and on and on and on. We're conditioned to it. We are brought up with it. We were born into it. We were programmed with it. And we continue the legacy on. That negative self-talk is destroying us. It's keeping us from being happy. Think about what you say in your head all day long. First of all, the voice in your head isn't you. It's not the voice of God. It's just your conditioned past. It's your mind throwing up something from the past that looks similar to what's going on in the present. Your ex-boyfriend drove a red pickup truck. You broke up with him. It was ugly. Now, every time you see a red pickup truck, you get the feeling in the pit of your stomach. You get butterflies. You start to get upset. You start to sweat. You're doing that. The negative self-talk not only is creating emotion that is hurting you, but it's also creating disease in the body. Dis-ease, not at ease. Anxiety, stress, that all comes from negative self-talk. The majority of it. We're stuck in the past, worrying about what we could have done, should have done, would have done. Or we're off in the future worried about what might happen. So what happens is we're 40% of the time in the past, 40% of the time in the future, only 20% of the time in the now. And when we are here in the now, it's our only time to make real, lasting, permanent transformation because it's your only entry point. There is no past. It's just former nows. There is no future because when it gets here, it will be now. Everyone is always chasing something out of this moment. So they're missing everything. It's right in front of you, but you're missing it because you're constantly chasing something else. When I get this job, I'll be happy. When I get this girlfriend, I'll be happy. This, that, or this. What does that do? It puts happiness constantly ahead of you, and you're chasing behind it. Your whole life will be like that. I want to tell you a couple of brain hacks that you can use, okay, for negative self-talk. Now, I'll tell you right now, 90% of this battle is awareness. When you become aware that it's going on, You've almost won. In fact, you can almost sit back. It'll take a lot longer, but you'll get there. From just awareness, if you're constantly becoming aware that it's going on, you're defeating that evil, the evil saboteur going on inside you. So one of the things you can do always, and I tell this to my students, by the way, if you want to transform your life, you go with somebody who's done it and who's taught other people to do it. My dad used to say, if you want to become a millionaire, you got to go talk to a millionaire. You know, you're not going to talk to a bum under the bridge. And that sounds bad, but it's true. Logically, it's true. So one of the things that you can do immediately is take the negative thought and replace it with the opposite, positive thought. So if you were thinking something like, I can't do this, it's too hard, that would become, I can do this by breaking it into smaller steps. Listen, that little change will change everything. Now, you're not going to believe it heart and soul at the beginning, and that's okay. That's why it might be easier if you changed, I can't do this, it's too hard, to I can do this, it's no problem. Inside, you may, oh, what a bunch of BS. So you've changed it, but not enough that it becomes in your mind impossible. I can't do this, it's too hard, becomes I can do this by breaking it into smaller steps. So you always go to the opposite. Okay. Now, if you're thinking positive, obviously you're not. It's the opposite of any time you're thinking negative self-talk. So if you're thinking they're all doing better than me, I'm a failure. How about I admire their success? What can I learn from them? It's just a shift, a slight shift, mind you. And it's also important to remember success leaves footprints. People that have done it, you can see how they've done it. You can learn from that. Otherwise, you're just throwing stuff against the wall to see what sticks. Here's a big one for me. I hate my body, the way I look. I used to think that all the time. How about my appearance does not define my worth? My body lets me do what I love to do. We are so lucky to be alive right now. We are on a giant marble hurtling through space. We are on a planet where there are a billion things to do and see and experience. You can do anything you want to do. Yet people aren't satisfied. They're never happy. They're bored, which is mind-blowing to me, with so much to do. We miss our lives because we are so hung up on this little tiny, minuscule, will not matter in 10, 15, 20, 100 years BS. And some people think, where I am right now is not where I should be. I should be farther ahead in life. How about I'm on my own journey? Only I can decide. And what can I do today to move me closer to my goals? Think about that. I do that each and every day. And I don't care if one day it's only a quarter of a millimeter closer. It's closer. You are the only judge. That external pressure that we put on ourselves that we think's coming from other people, you are the only person that matters in this equation. How about I'm so stupid, I should never have done that? How often do we say that to ourselves? How about I was doing the best I could at the time? What can I do differently in the future? You see, you're slightly reframing it. You're keeping yourself from becoming a victim of that negative self-talk. It's important to remember that you are listening, and that is the most important person in your universe. Because everything that you need to transform your life, to change the person that you are into the person you want to be, is already inside you. Your birthright, born with it. That mind power has been from the moment you're born. Think about when you're a kid and everything is amazing and you're outside, you're playing all these games and becoming a prince and a fireman and a queen and all these different things. Imagination, everything is fantastic. We may get mad for a moment and we let that out, but then we're happy again immediately. We don't hold grudges. We aren't racist. We aren't homophobic. That is taught behavior. And what happens is, as that starts to be taught in our lives from parents and teachers and the media and government and, peers, it starts to transform the person that we were meant to be, because now there's limitations. Boys should do this, girls should do that. I can't do this because somebody in the family, had a bad experience. Whatever it is, it starts to place limitations on your life. And that negative self-talk, which begins when we're kids, along with your subconscious, it's recording everything. It's your programming. So when you're born, all that programming is beat into you over the first 8 years. And those things that are just thoughts that you think have no power and don't mean anything, those thoughts start to become thought patterns when they're thought over and over and over. And then those thought patterns become belief patterns. And then they become impossible to change without getting into your subconscious. That's what I've done. For 30 years, I've been touring the world teaching people how to get into their subconscious, flip the switch, and transform their lives. Because once you understand the process, it is easy. There is a different life going on parallel to yours. That switch flips the track. Because otherwise, you're going to be running on a tape that you created when you weren't mature, whenever you were 8 years or younger. And who wants to be 30, 40, 60, 80 years old and living with rules that were created when you weren't thinking logically, you weren't mature? That's how you have to get in there and change that. Negative self-talk is a great way to start, because becoming aware that that voice is talking in there and saying negative things about you, those affirmations are creating your future. It's like an artist inside your mind painting your future with all that negative self-talk. Becoming aware, you've almost won. Like I said, once you know it's going on, you can stop it. We have thousands of thoughts a day. Most of them we're not aware at any one moment what's going on up there. Any thought you have with emotion is much more powerful. The energy in that is thousands, 20,000, they say, times stronger than a normal thought, because the emotion. Most of the time, those emotional thoughts we're thinking are negative. I'm embarrassed. I wish I would have done this. I should have never broke up with him, on and on and on. Learning that matters in your life will change it all. So start paying attention to the voice. Start paying attention to what the voice is telling you, is saying about you. Think of the things that you say to other people. I'm sick and tired of this situation. Sick and tired, sick and tired. He's a pain in my ass. He's a pain in my neck. He's a pain in my back. Pain, pain, pain. I'm so fed up. I can't do this anymore. I'll never be able to do that. People with money are evil. On and on and on. Those affirmations have become your beliefs inside, in your DNA. You believe those things. And that's why trying to change them on the outside never going to work until you get into the programming. First thing, become aware. Become aware that it's going on. Second, reframe it from negative to positive. Go to the opposite of whatever you're thinking if it's negative. Okay? I hate myself. I can't stick to a diet. How about this one? I can't diet. I never lose weight. I used to say that all the time. What a horrible affirmation. I've heard people say, I hate my life. Life sucks. On and on and on. What a horrible thing to affirm. My mom going to the casino. Hey, you're going to the casino today? Yeah, but I never win anything. Why go then? Right? We do that to ourselves, almost like we're setting ourselves up so that we won't be upset when we don't achieve it or something. Like your mind's trying to protect you in those scenarios. That's what that voice is doing. You're walking down the street with your friend and you see a guy coming towards you, and that guy looks like the uncle that was so mean to you when you were a kid, and he starts getting closer. The two of you see this person. Your friend feels nothing. You, pit of the stomach, butterflies, sweat, heat, hot, upset. Then you realize, oh, it's not him, and everything goes back to normal. Here's the reason that happens. When you've connected a thought with an emotion, most of the time it's negative. We store that stuff away because we don't want to deal with it. Then when it pops up in our life, what do? We don't deal with it. We push it back down again. The ex-boyfriend's red pickup truck is going down the road. You see it. You get upset for a moment. You realize it's not him, but you don't deal with it. You push it back in. And now 2 weeks from now, when you see that, or a year from now, or 2 years from now, you're still dealing with it. Even a murderer, a convicted murderer, only has to go through one trial most of the time. And once they're convicted, it's over. But that's not what we do. We put ourselves on trial every single day. And we pronounce ourselves guilty. We punish ourselves. And then we punish ourselves again and again and again, sometimes for the rest of our lives, for one thing. We never let ourselves out from under it. The things we do to ourselves is what's creating our life. We can worry about what everyone else says, what everyone else does, what the world is doing, but what's going on in your world is all that matters. What you decide to take in from other people. If an energy vampire, that's what I call somebody who walks up to you and sucks you dry from your energy. And you know who they are because after you leave them, you want to go to sleep. Each and every day, we have a finite amount of life force energy. Think about it like a battery. It's charged, fully charged in the morning. By the end of the day, what have you spent your energy on? Somebody walks up to you who's an energy vampire and they say, how are you doing? And you say, I'm doing great. How are you? And they go, oh, well, and the saga begins and you get the long story of why life is so bad. And if you know people like that, their life is continuously bad. It's never good. They're more comfortable in misery than they would be in having something amazing happen to them because they understand misery. They live there. Change is scary. Staying the same, at least we know what that's like. So people would rather be miserable than to try and change their life. Negative people create a negative world around them. They just bring more of that to them. It doesn't care. I don't care what you believe in. It is the truth. You can call it what you want. You can call it the law of attraction. You can call it give and take, whatever it is. You are creating the energy field around you. Whatever you are harmonizing on, whatever your frequency is, everything in this universe is just vibrating patterns of light, including our thoughts. So what are you vibrating with? Is it negativity? Is it fear? Is it anxiety? Is it stress? Because I used to have all of that too. And I want to actually share something with you. And I wasn't going to do this time, but I'm going to show you. I receive a lot of emails and messages, and I got one the other day that is right here. Okay. Let me show it to you. Here it says, I need help. I'm an addict and an alcoholic. Right away, you've just labeled yourself. I'm an addict. I'm an alcoholic. And I want so bad to be free from this horrible life. I watch your videos. I try to meditate and stop my mind. Now I'm dealing with a health problem and I'm all alone. I just want advice on how to change. See, most people, they try to change when the most catastrophic thing happens. So you're having some kind of health issue, but you're already having these other issues. So it's forced you finally to want to try to change, right? It's always when something really bad is going on, which makes it harder, obviously, because emotionally it's much easier to get pulled into these kind of scenarios. But let me tell you, I was an alcoholic for years. I toured all over the world. I did amazing things, but I drank like there was no tomorrow. You know, I was if drinking was a sport, I was a gold medal winner. And so I understand it. I don't know what you're addicted to, but we've all been addicted to something. I've had surgeries. I've had cancer. I've been addicted to pain medicine. I've been, addicted to all sorts of things. So we're all addicts, really. But don't label yourself an alcoholic and an addict. Those are just your traits. That is your past. Those are things you've done before, but that is not you. And if you watch my videos and you know how important meditation is, I don't care if you sit for 2 minutes and meditate. If you can't sit for 10 minutes, start with 2, because meditation will get you there too. And it will get you there faster, because stillness speaks, silence speaks volumes. And the only way to get that inner silence is through meditation, because it's shutting off the voice. It's connecting with the inner you. That's how you get into the subconscious. Then, before you sleep at night, before you wake up in the morning, you're in that gray area between being asleep and being awake. That is when you can get in and start to change your programming in your subconscious. So you have to understand all these things. It builds in steps. So the first thing, like I just said, was becoming aware. Now you've done that because you're saying, I'm an addict, I'm an alcoholic, I want so bad to be out of this life. Guess what? That's awareness. A lot of addicts, a lot of alcoholics deny it, right? They don't want to believe it. They lie about it. You've embraced it. You've taken control with that aspect. You're admitting it to yourself. That's all that matters. I don't know you. It only matters what you admit to yourself, because those are the games that matter the most. The things going on inside your head. So I don't know what your health problem is, but like I said, I have had cancer in the past. I've been through all sorts of crap, and I understand health issues happen. No matter how great your mindset is and how well you are able to deal with life, you're not going to have a perfect life by being able to control your mind. You're going to have an incredible life by being in control. And whenever something happens to you that is negative or bad, really, I mean, death happens. There's nothing you can do about it. When somebody you love dies, it's horrible, but you've got to go through it. That's not what we do as humans. We can't take the suffering, so we put it away. And then guess what? We suffer for the rest of our lives. And then more and more and more. We're throwing more and more and more, like a hoarder on the TV show. And inside your mental sanctuary, your fortress of solitude, is full of junk. It's full of garbage. You can't even get around in there, because that's what we do to ourselves. We punish ourselves so much. So if you're trying to meditate, I've got some videos on my YouTube channel that are guided meditations that might help you. But listen, put in a pair. Here are my earplugs. Okay. You can get these very cheap, drugstore. Okay. You roll them up, pop them in your ears, sit down. I don't set a clock anymore. I meditate 40 minutes in the morning, 40 minutes in the evening, but I don't like to set a clock, because sometimes I'll go farther. I hardly ever go less than 20. So I never pop out in 10 minutes and think I've done 20. It is an amazing thing, because once you start doing it consistently, you don't have to do anything. That's why I love so many of the things that I teach, because it doesn't take extra effort. When you start doing them, almost like osmosis, it starts to make the change for you. Then, now from a base of change, you're able to attack the things that matter in your life. Okay? So sit down, legs crossed, back up against the wall if you want, or up against a chair or something. If you don't want to sit just straight backed, hands on your knees, close your eyes, and all you have to do is just watch your breath. If you're just starting and you don't know how to quiet your mind, because I'm going to tell you right now, you are not going to get your mind quiet for a long, long time, but you have to start working on it, or it's never going to happen. There is nothing like that moment when there is nothing going on, when there's no mind, and you fall into the pool of you. That is incredible. No trip to anywhere in the world could give you that feeling that you give yourself. Literally, everything you want is inside, but you've got to learn how to access it. You got to learn how your mindset matters and what you think about matters. So instead of thinking, I'm an alcoholic, I'm an addict, you've admitted it, you know it, you feel it, you were. Okay? Everything that you want in life has to be in the present tense. Think about it logically. If you're thinking, I want to be, or I want this, I want that, forever, you're constantly one step behind it. Because now that thing that you want is off somewhere and you're chasing it. You've put yourself in a never ending, and never winning game where you're constantly chasing after something to make you happy, to make you successful, to make you this or that. You give yourself those gifts. So if you can sit, I don't care if it's 2 minutes, and every time your mind goes somewhere else, you pull the thought back to your breathing. So close your eyes, take a deep breath in, really deep. You take it in, hold it for a moment, and then you let it out. And I'm talking deep because we don't get really the right amount of oxygen. Everything we're going on in our hectic lives, we don't know how to breathe correctly. Deep breaths really matter in meditation, especially at the beginning, to get you in the right mindset, to get you, you're switching, kind of slowing down. So those breaths at the beginning are very important. Take 4, deep in, deep out, deep in, deep out, 4 times. Then you can do one of several things. You can count to 20 over and over and over again. That way, anytime your mind wanders and you're on 37 or 44 or 186, you've gone too far, immediately go back to 1. So you're going 1 through 20, not and then 20 to 1. No, it's just 1 through 20. So 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3. Only in your mind. And the only reason you're doing that, you're giving your mind something to do. You're giving your mind a menial task. This is where transcendental meditation comes from. What does that mean? It means you're transcending the mind. And in order to transcend it, to go above it or below it, you have to give your rational mind something to do, to occupy it, to trick it at the beginning and get it used to this. Your mind doesn't want to be trained. Trust me. It's going to fight you. It's going to scream and yell. It's going to give you every pain in the body. It's going to tell you all these things that you haven't done lately, but you need to do right now. And it's going to try to get you to get up. The longer you go every day, 2 minutes, I don't care if it's 2 minutes, 10 seconds the next day, longer. Do 3 minutes then for a week. I don't care. But constantly be looking towards increasing the time. You don't have to sit for 40 minutes, but if you can sit for 15 in the morning and 15 in the evening, eventually, not to start, but eventually, everything will transform. I promise you, meditation is not some new age foo-foo thing that, the elite are doing. And it's some, it's like, when people, I have a gluten allergy. And everyone's always saying, nobody even knows anymore. Everybody has all these things. This is not some foo-foo thing. This is a tool. This is an access tool that helps you get into your subconscious even quicker. Okay. So meditation, I love that you're trying it, that you understand how important it is, because otherwise you wouldn't be frustrated that you haven't been able to do it. And stopping your mind, that again, that's not going to happen right off, but it's going to happen eventually. You have to go into meditation. I do every day like this. I release all expectations from this meditation. Over and over, I say that a few times in my head. Because I'm if you go into meditation expecting bright lights and, you're in trouble. All of that can happen and does happen, but not when you're expecting it and wanting it and needing it. Because all that anxious energy will destroy it. The trick is giving your mind something to do. You're counting, you're watching your breath. And that would just be you're breathing in and out. And in your mind, you're just following the breath in, out, a menial job that your mind can do that you'll start to go deeper because of. You'll start drilling down. Okay. You're going to be in that area, the unified field. Look, in quantum physics, they've discovered everything springs from that quantum field of energy. And by turning your mind inward with meditation, you drill down into that. That's where creativity, that's where transformation comes from. That's where you can change your belief systems. That's where things will pop up. You'll be crying about something that happened when you were 7, and all of a sudden it's released from your life. I've had huge pieces that I've held on for a long time. With my dad, for instance, there have been things where things come to me in meditation and I'm crying and I feel just this massive amount of relief. And I talked to my mom about one specific thing, and she had never told me that, but she confirmed that was absolutely true. So how could I possibly have known that? Everything that has ever been or will be is in that unified field. Learning to tap into that, that's where songwriters, an entire song appears before them. Look at American Pie, Don McLean. That is a masterpiece song. How many minutes long? That's the song DJs use to go to the bathroom because they can have a long time in the bathroom. American Pie, he wrote that song in one setting, just like that, connected to something. Lionel Richie says it all the time. It just came to me. The entire song came to me. How does that happen? It happens because you're in touch with that inner you. When you can connect this meat wagon, this car, which is all this body is, with this soul inside, with the power inside, and now this power is running the car, changes everything. Because now it's just a vehicle to get you around, but you can transform your life by understanding that. So for you, I say, try. I don't know what the health issue is, but try every day. Do whatever you can. You're standing in line at the store. Close your eyes for 30 seconds. Take 4 deep breaths. It will immediately ground you. And every time you do that, it gives you the ability to put kind of a break in the stream of consciousness. The same thing over and over and over. You're affirming over and over and over. By doing these sorts of things, you stop 4 times, you pause, puts a break. And that break eventually gets longer and longer and longer. So when something happens in your life, a confrontation, a health issue, death of a family member, instead of getting sucked into it and the emotion of it, there's now a space that allows you to become grounded, that allows you to take your stance, to take your power, and then go into it. You can't change the moment in front of you. You can't do anything about it. Your best friend dies. You can't go back in time and tell them not to get in the car or not to do this. Can't be done. So the first thing we always do is accept the moment because it's here, and to fight against it, which is what we do all the time. I don't like this moment. It should be like this. Trying to twist life into how we think it needs to be to make us happy. That is a recipe for disaster. And almost every cook is using that recipe in their lives today. And they're using it to create their lives. Your future is not someplace out there. Your future is being created in the present, in the things you're doing right now, in the things that you're thinking right now, in the things that you're saying right now, especially about yourself. So watch the negative self-talk. It makes all the difference. Become aware of the situation. If you have to, name the voice in your head. I did that. My voice is named Carl. And when that voice starts talking, it doesn't do it very often. But when it does, I immediately, there's Carl. Carl's at it again. And you laugh at it and you joke, you make fun of it. And guess what happens when you do that? You know what happens. You diffuse it. You take all the power away when you do that. So give it a funny name. And then when it starts talking, instead of being sucked into what it's saying, oh my God, it's right. This is going to happen. Instead, go, there's Carl again. Oh, he's so crazy. And know that you don't have to listen to it, that you don't have to take the advice, that you don't have to worry about what that voice is saying, because that voice is not a prediction of the future. It's just the past. And normally we've conditioned it to be so negative and to bring up negative things. This changes all that. So work on your self-talk, all the things you say to yourself. Before you go to bed at night, the last thing on your mind, that's what you're going to be stewing over, marinating all night long. So make it a positive thing. Don't be worried about the day. Don't be worried about what you've got to do tomorrow. Because then when you wake up, that next day is just a continuation of the day before. Each and every day is a gift. Waking up is a gift. Being here now, just like I said, is a gift. Stop being so upset with life. Stop holding everyone else accountable. It's now time to take responsibility. When I did that, trust me, I blamed everyone else. And I was anxiety filled, fear filled my entire life and didn't know why. But I didn't let it stop me. I still toured the world. I've still taught millions of people. I've been in front of millions of people live, not just online, live. And I understand one thing, and it's the mind. And when I realized, and I first learned at 5 years old, magic of believing, I started to embrace it, didn't quite understand it. But meeting the people I've worked with, and Joan Rivers and Phyllis Diller, were both big proponents of that. It really changed the entire trajectory of my life. It can take you from failure, from fear to freedom. And it's ultimate freedom. Because when you're no longer worried about all the BS that you think matters now, you're free to live your life and amazing things happen. Trust me. Trust me. So I am thinking about you. I'm sending you every positive thought. I want you to just try the meditation again. If there's any other tips I can give you, if there's something you want to know and be more specific, drop me a message. I know you messaged me again after this, but if there's anything else about the meditation, let me know. Okay. So I want to thank you for sending in that message. If you've got something you want to talk about, drop it down below into the comments and we can discuss it. It's important to remember something good is going to happen to you. I say this all the time. It's kind of our tagline. And you know what? It is going to, but you have to believe it. That's the trick. That's the the double-edged sword. You have to believe it, because when you believe it, you create it, you manifest it, you make it happen. If you're wondering how to do that, absolutely at no cost to you, go now and join our Facebook community. It's a fantastic group. We are like-minded people. We're banded together. We're transforming our lives and we're helping each other. That's the way it should be. This world needs to awaken. If it does not, we are on the road to ruin. The more of us that awake to what is really happening, to the potential, everything can transform. Everything can transform. I promise you. So join us. It's facebook.com/groups/students of self-empowerment. It's facebook.com/groups/students of self-empowerment. And also don't forget, take a visit to my website. It's brentwebb.com. At that website, you're going to see all of my programs. You're going to see all of my systems. You're going to see all of my students. You're going to see their stories. You're going to live vicariously through them. You're going to see complete transformation. It's going to inspire you. I've created a 1-year mentorship program that I am so proud of. And with that program, there are 52 modules. I take you from complete neophyte and complete beginner to transformation in your life. Each and every week builds on the week before. There's video trainings. There's live question and answer sessions. It is a family. It's really a amazing community. It's my 1-year mentorship program. It's brand new. We're so excited. We've got about 18 students in there. And I want you to remember this. I'm not doing anything for the money. I never have, but I'm at the point now, I don't really even perform anymore. I am here to give back. This really is my life's work. So if you go and get some information and you're interested, I want you to know there's a no risk money back guarantee. I always offer 100% money back plus $1,000. $1,000. If this system doesn't work for you, doesn't transform your life, doesn't take you to where you want to go, at the end of this 52 modules, I'll give you a full refund and your money back. That's how much I believe in it. And I believe in it because it works. I've seen it work not only on me, but on hundreds of thousands of students all over the world. And I'm going to tell you what, you see this website down there, brentwebb.com? If you go to brentwebb.com right now and you go to the shop, you'll see the Mind Power Mentorship is there. It's normal price, $15.97. It's 1-year membership. You're going to see all the things you receive. It is an unbeatable deal. But If you go to, and I don't know if I have this. Let me see if I do. I don't know if I do. I don't. If you go to BrentWebTraining.com, go to BrentWebTraining.com, you can get an amazing offer. You'll see a special video from me. You'll see everything that's included. You'll also receive a really fantastic offer there. And I'd love to have you. So go take a look at it. Tell your friends, and please like, subscribe, and share this video. This video can save someone's life. This video can transform someone's life, and that person might just be you. So like, share, comment, everything you can do to help out. This is a mission that we are on, a mission to transform consciousness, a mission to awaken the rest of the world to the immense possibilities inside us. When we do that, everything changes, and it's going to be an amazing thing. Go out and enjoy your weekend. Remember, don't worry, be happy, feel good. See you soon. There's something happening behind the scenes that will soon transform the world in such a radical way that most people will be shocked. Right now, the world seems like a hopeless place. We've been conditioned for so long to believe that we're limited and helpless. We've been told that peace is impossible, that poverty is unfixable, that disease is natural, that human suffering is inevitable. We've been lied to. We've been brainwashed to think that the only way to effect change is to fight the status quo, to take to the streets and protest, to rise up in anger. But that's a dead end that has never brought any lasting solution. Instead, something radically different has begun taking place and is gaining momentum. Certain individuals and groups of people have started remembering. They're remembering who they really are behind the illusion of physicality. They're remembering their divine nature. They're remembering that they're the superheroes and the saviors that they've been waiting for. And even though their numbers are relatively small, with their regained memories comes a power unlike anything the world has ever seen before. A power that will soon heal the entire world and set it free. This power is the power of consciousness, of divine light and love. And one person wielding this power can shine a light so bright that it literally transforms 5,000 people who are stuck in negativity and darkness. And far from being an abstract notion, this is being proven and measured. A scientifically controlled study led by German researchers at the University of Kassel has shown that while the average person's chest area emits only 20 photons of light per second, someone who is meditating on their heart and sending out love and light to others radiates a stunning 100,000 photons per second. That's 5,000 times more than the average person. And numerous studies have shown that when these photons are imbued with a loving and healing intention, their frequency and vibration rises to the point that they can literally change matter. They can heal disease and transform negative events. And when groups of meditators who emit light and love assemble, the effect is so exponential that the impact is truly staggering. Over the past 30 years, there have been 23 scientific studies on mass meditation, which have been carefully scrutinized by independent scholars and accepted for publication in leading peer-reviewed academic journals. In every case, the research has shown marked reductions in crime, terrorism, and war in their respective geographic areas and even globally. Stop and think about this mind-bending, reality-altering fact. It's showing us the way forward to real, lasting change, because the truth is that the underlying substratum of our entire world is simply energy.
Change the energy by imbuing it with light and love, and the world has to change. In fact, that's the only way it will ever change, because all other seeming solutions work only on the surface level of matter, instead of the energetic blueprint that actually creates reality. And to change it, the time has to be now. Now is the time to join the army of light warriors that have been building across the globe. Now is the time to rediscover your true divine power and put it to use to change the world. Now is the time to stop waiting for saviors and instead to embody the truth that will set you and everyone else free. This army is not one that wages wars. It's not one that judges, condemns, and attacks. It's an army of heart-centered beings who use their divine power for the highest good of all, who stand up for goodness and freedom, not through anger and protest, but through embodying higher consciousness and sending out the transformative energy of light and love. And the world thinks they're crazy. It calls them naive idealists. It laughs at them. Yet this is the same world that has been raging with violence and war, poverty, and disease. So tell me, who are the sane ones? This is the same world that used to burn people at the stake if they thought empowering beliefs. It's the same world that has killed and tortured countless souls. And despite the efforts of so many with good intentions, it remains an insane world filled with atrocities. Why is this so? Because good intentions aren't enough. The world cannot change by working merely on the physical front. The change needs to come from the underlying foundational and energetic front. That's why what's happening now is so different. Never before in our recorded history are so many souls waking up to the truth that we are beings of light who have the power to change our reality. And that's why this army will be the last army ever built. Because after our work is done, no other armies will be needed in the world. No wars will be raging. Peace will finally prevail. But this energetic battle is far from over. We can't simply spout empowering words and go on living as we used to. We need to do something. We need to send out the light every day to those we like and especially to those that we don't. We need to visualize the earth of our dreams every day. We need to sit in silence and meditate on the feelings of love and peace in our inner world every day. Even if only 5 or 10 minutes can be spared, we need to do it every day. Start with just 10 days to build a habit, and you can go from there for the rest of your life. Remember, your light can erase the negativity of 5,000 people who are stuck in lower consciousness. That's your power. No one can do this for us. It must be us. It must be you. And when you radiate this energy of higher consciousness, not only will our outer world start reflecting it, but your personal inner world will be enriched beyond measure. You will finally have the peace, the fulfillment, the abundance, and the joy that you've been seeking. In fact, this inner transformation is what causes the outer one. And so I call you now to join this army of light. I call you to let go of the limiting beliefs and conditioning that tells you you can't make a difference or that you have to fight for change in physical ways out there in the world. And I call you to take command of our collective destiny by committing to do this sacred work each and every day. Make time to meditate. Make time to visualize loving light pouring from your heart to the world. Make time to love and forgive and uplift every day. Your efforts are not in vain. Science has proven the stunning effects. Don't listen to your brothers and sisters who are still spiritually asleep when they tell you what you're doing is pointless. They need you to live your truth now more than ever. Together, we can do this. Together, we will transform the planet. Together, we will create heaven on earth.
Just yes or no, is there something that you're thinking of that has to do with a motorcycle or motorbike? do with, is your wife with you?
Yes.
Interesting. Has to do with your wife as well. Did you propose to your wife on a motorbike?
Yes.
Give her some applause. Take a seat. So, password to their cell phone. If your password to your cell phone is 4471, just yell out. Yeah.
Somebody is thinking about the city of Westminster. Where is that person? Westminster. Right there in the front. Or near the front, right by you. Good. You can take your hands off your mouth now, it's okay. Pass the mic down, please. What? Is there a 4 in there?
Yes.
And a 6?
Yes.
Think of the street. Edro?
Oh my.
Is that it? Is it Edro Isle? Is that right?
Yes.
You are thinking about a very long series of numbers, am I correct?
Yes.
Is this a phone number, or what kind of number is this?
Delta Sky Miles.
The Delta Sky Mile number. You're just going to answer me after each digit. Are you ready? 2,
Yes.
2,
Yes.
1,
Yes.
0,
Yes.
3,
Yes.
3. That's the hesitation. Is it a 4? A 3, 4?
Yes.
7, 9?
Yes.
That's it? Good, give her some applause.
Bringing back the mentalist, Mr. Brent Webb.